So we had just, so my last video was the employee onboarding system. If you have not seen that, you might want to check that out. So what happens if you want to offboard your employees? So say an employee is discharged from the company, or they have resigned from the company, so we want to offboard them from the company. So let me just show you a simple employee offboarding system that you can use in your business. So we're going to use Zapier to build this, because I want this to be very beginner friendly and something that you as the business owner can set up for yourself. So we're going to use Zapier, and once you get to Zapier, you can either click Zaps here, or you come here and you create, and then you see the same things here. So let's just click on Zap here. So our trigger is going to be when an employee is tagged as discharged. So let's say we have so let's say that this is what our employee database looks like. Of course, yours will have lots and lots of data. So let's say this is what your employee database looks like. So, and in here you have the status here. So status can have, like, I have a full-time staff, part-time staff, discharge staff, intern staff, whatever. What we want to do is set up a trigger that will watch for any updates in an employee. So what we want to do here is click here, and our database is a table. So our event here, we're going to watch for updated records. So the next thing we want to do here is select the account. But if you don't have any account connected, you're going to see a sign in button. So you just sign into the account. So I'm going to choose my own account here, and then I click continue, and I'm going to choose my base here, which is going to be this, and then the disable is going to be employee, and the last modified column, oh, I don't have that in my database, so I have to come here and add that. So click on this add, and then in the fields here you're going to see last modified time. That's what you want to add here, and let's just call it last modified time. So we create the field. Yes, so the field has been created here. So we now have this field right here. So if we come down here to our last modified field and refresh, we're going to see it pop up. Yeah, so it's popped up now because we have that. And then the view, you might decide to leave that. It's not really a necessary field to fill up. So we click on continue here, and we can go ahead and test the field here, and then we can pull any of the record here, and let me just continue with that particular record. So the next step is going to be the filter step, that we filter only the discharged employee. So we're going to filter only the discharged employee, because the status will always change. If they move from part-time to full-time, if they move from intern to full-time, the status will always be changing, but we are only in this case looking for the ones that their status have changed to discharged. Those are the only ones we're looking for. So we're going to click on filter here, and then what we want to do is continue only if we come down to this status, and then we set text contents, and then we set discharged here, and then we continue this. So it didn't match. That's why we have this. The person is the record that we're working with. The person is a full-time staff. So the next step that we're going to add is going to be the step that composes the so the next step that we want to add is the step that removes them from our Slack channel. We want to find them by their email and then remove them from the Slack channel. So the first thing we want to do is find their email here. So I'm going to just search here, find user. Yeah. So what I want to do is find user by email, because I need to find them and then remove them from the Slack channel. So I'm going to add their email here. So the email is going to come from here, and then I continue this, and then I test this step. Yeah, so that works. So the next step I want to add is going to be this. The next step I'm going to add is going to be the step that actually removes them from our channels. So I'm going to do Slack here. I'm going to choose an event which is going to be remove user from channel, and I'm going to continue, and my user here is going to be custom, so I pick it from here. So I'm going to pick it from this find user, so it's going to be this ID here, and then the channel is going to be any of the channels that you always prefer. So you do whatever, all, sorry, not all. And one thing that is important here is that you cannot remove the person directly from a general, so remove them from this. So you pick your channel here, and we want to move them from that one to new channel. So we continue, and then we test it. Let's see if the user was added to the, yeah. So the user was not found because the email there is not connected to. So yeah, so that the first channel did not exist, but this one does. The one I just chose now existed. So here it says that a data was sent to Slack, so that means it has removed that user. So the next thing that we want to do, is draft our goodbye emails to them. So what we're going to use to draft is we added step is going to be AI by Zapier. So our input field is going to be the employee name, which is going to be from here. Where's the person's name? Yeah, we save, and then we add another field which is going to be the sender name. In this case, it's going to be, and we save this. So the next thing is going to be the sender position, which is going to be HR. It's going to be HR. I don't have to mark that. And I save this. So the next thing I want to do is sender company, which is going to be hold up. And then I save this. I don't have any knowledge base to add, so I'll just go to the prompt here and I'll say draft an email, an offboarding email for an employee that has been, say, discharged from the company. Tell them is sad. Tell them is sad to see them go, and also wish them well. Wish them well in their new endeavors. How do they spell endeavors though? I knew I didn't get that right. Yeah, endeavor. So we can come here and improve this, so it will be better. And yeah, the message should express that desire to see them leave and include well wishes for their future endeavor. Ensure the is respectful and acknowledging their contributions to the company. Yeah, I like this. So I'll go ahead and add our output field, which is going to be the email subject. And then I will be like, this is the subject of the email. And I'm going to mark this field as required and I'll save. The next output field I want to add is going to be the email body, and I'm going to be like, the description is going to be, this is the subject of the email, and I'll mark this field as required and I will save this. So now I can go ahead and generate my preview to see what a preview of it will look like. Oh, it's with a heavy heart that we bid you farewell from. The contributions during your time with us has been truly valuable, and your presence will certainly be missed. We recognize the hard work, dedication, blah, 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 blah. I think this is good enough. So what I can do is finish this. So it takes me to the next step, which we actually send this email to the employee. But one step I did miss here is the step where we revoke any document access that they had. So say they had access to our company documents, a company sheet where they upload, say the person was in marketing, so where they upload the reports and all of that. So if they had access to those kind of files, we also want to revoke all those kind of access. So I want to add that step first before I go ahead and send the last email. So I can come back here and add step here. So what I want to do is Google Drive, so but you can use wherever the company documents are in. So what we want to do here is remove file permission, so to whatever file they have. So let's say let me add someone to one of my files so that it will work, because if you don't have someone connected to the file, it won't work. So let's say this is the company document, say company inventory that the person is connected to. So we can do this is the email. So let me give the person access. Is this message necessary? No, it's not. So let me send this. Yes, so I have added someone to this. I've added the email to this. So if I come back here and I continue this, so the drive, of course, is my own drive, and the folder is where is this at though? Is it in any folder? No, it's not. Yeah, so default is this. It's not in any folder. So the email address that we want to revoke here is going to come from here, right? Boutique. Let me be sure that I'm picking the right. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the right file. So we continue this, and we can test this step to see what happens. And yet the person has been removed. So if I refresh this, I no longer have access to that particular setup. So now that I have that, I can just continue this, and I have this already, so I can just so I have this set up already. So the next step I want to do is add the last step, which is going to be the step that actually sends the the farewell email to the employee. My account is connected here, so I just click continue, and then till here is going to be the email address in our dashboard or in our employee database. You can blind copy management or whoever also needs to be in the know that we no longer have that employee again. And then the from here is going to be the email address that to send the email from, and the subject here we map it to our last step, which is going to be this one. And the email type, body type, you leave it as plain, and then the email body here you map it to this one. I hope I did map. Oh yeah, I mapped the correct thing. So your signature, if you have any attachments, if you want to add any, and then we click on continue, and then we test the step. And now that we have that, we can just go ahead and publish this. So now in less than 5 minutes, we completely offboard every employee that has been discharged from the company or is no longer working with us. And what we just simply do is update. And how we just simply do it is just update our A table and make sure that the person updates the employee status to discharge. And then the system just picks it up, finds their user email on Slack and removes them from the channel, also finds their email and removes them from company documents, removes them, and also creates a farewell email and sends it to them. And this will take less than 3 to 5 minutes. This setup would actually have run successfully. So every time you discharge an employee, it takes us just 3 minutes to offboard them instead of the regular 30 minutes to 1 hour to offboard an employee. I really hope you find this useful. I hope you set this up for yourself. And that being said, I'll see you in my next one. But if you do have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments. We just tend to them. So bye.